This session is brought to you by the letters E and Q and the number 9. This cool tone of red is sometimes known as burgundy, wine red, maroon, or magenta, and it represents universal harmony and a balanced outlook on life. And this brings me to a topic that's very close to my heart, and that's about emotional intelligence. With so many things going on in this world, are you feeling extremely stressed? Do you feel like you're lacking motivation or you're lost in your direction? At the same time, do you find that sometimes you're in conflict with your relationships, or you find that you just really don't know what you want to do and you're struggling with different things that are stressing you out? Hi, I'm Marion. I was Miss Singapore Universe back in 1987, and I'm one of the co-founders of EQ World. Now, I've been training for a really long time, and I've always been looking for a topic that could help people change from within. Again, my journey with EQ has not always been very easy. For a really long time, I thought that emotional intelligence was just really about understanding how I feel, understanding how you feel, let's recognize what the issue is, and then we move on. So many years ago, I started to recognize that there was so much more depth to emotional intelligence. And this is where my partner and I created an EQ Competency Framework, which is a model that teaches 9 different competencies, and it's really teaching us about changing from within. So it has to start from inside out. Over so many years of my training, I was trying to teach people to change from the outside, but that didn't help them really have sustainable change, or people were not really very motivated. After many years of training and doing research, my partner and I decided to create this EQ Competency Framework, which consists of 9 different EQ behaviors or competencies. At the core of it, we talk about purpose. Purpose is really very important as it gives us the direction in our life. It helps us stay motivated, and it's about that fire in our belly that helps us wake up in the morning and feel excited. Once we have a clear direction in our life, we then work on the inner circle, which is about our self-mastery. And at self-mastery, we have 4 different competencies. The first one we talk about is consciousness. Now, consciousness is really about being self-aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, as well as being able to make a decision to change yourself to improve and be better. The next competency in the self zone is about emotional management. And this is where emotions are not always easy to handle, but it's so important for us to be able to practice self-restraint and be responsible for our behaviors in terms of how we express our emotions. Remember, there's always a right time and a right place in expressing these emotions. Now, in order to change the state that we might feel in, we need to look into our thinking. And that brings us into the third competency, and that's about optimism. Are we able to look at different possibilities when times are hard? Do we have more positive thinking, and do we feel hopeful? If we're able to change our thinking by becoming a lot more optimistic, that definitely helps us in terms of our emotional state. The last competency within the self zone is called self-efficacy, and this is the ability to do a job or task with quality and timeliness. This is where we're responsible for our task, we're confident about ourselves in order to do it, as well as have a resilient mindset to get the job done, no matter how difficult or how challenging it may seem. Now, once we've mastered these competencies within ourselves, then it helps us with our relationship towards others. And within this domain or zone of others, we look at 4 different competencies. And the first one is connection. How are we at connecting with people? Are we able to build rapport as well as do it with sincerity and have positive intentions? The other one that we look at is then to be able to build trust. Now, do we trust other people, and do others also trust us? This is so important, especially in terms of developing that relationship with them. Another competency that we look at is influence. As a leader, as a parent, as somebody who needs to get the job done, we need to be able to communicate in such a way that we're able to influence people or persuade them so that we can mutually benefit in whatever the task or job might be. The last competency to me is the most important, and that's about empathy. Are we able to put ourselves in the other person's shoes and feel what they're going through? Now, empathy is not just saying, oh, I'm so sorry that that has happened. It's really about also being there for the person and giving them unconditional support. So these are the 9 competencies of our EQ Competency Framework. Remember, there are 3 domains. At the core of it is really about understanding your purpose. Then in the middle domain, it's really about self-mastery, your intrapersonal skills. Once you've mastered yourself, then you can think about, how do I relate to other people? And at the outer core, it's your interpersonal skills. Remember, we can't change other people, we can only change ourselves. So it's really about motivating yourself from within. Make changes within yourself, and then you find that you can relate so much better towards other people. And that definitely gives us a more balanced outlook on life. Now, I found that in many of my training programs, I used to teach people about outer behaviors and how to change it, but it wasn't really a sustainable change. They would come for the training, they'd say they had fun, it was exciting, they learned a lot, but at the end of the day, they'd go back to being the same person that they were. So really, it's so important for us to find out what is motivating us from within. When we can do that, we can then see a more sustainable change. We've also created an EQ competency profile, which is an online assessment to be able to measure your skill levels for all the different competencies. Now, we find that all these behaviors are observable, they're measurable, and they're definitely learnable. So let's do a quick recap of what these 9 competencies are. At the core of it, we have purpose. At the middle zone, or your self zone, it's about consciousness, emotional management, optimism, and self-efficacy. And then on the outer core, your interpersonal skills, we have connection, trust, influence, and empathy. I hope you've enjoyed my sharing today, and if you did, please do like the video and make a comment about what the color magenta means to you. Remember, for me, it's about a balanced outlook on life. If you'd like to find out more about what I do, you can look at our website on www.eqworld.com, or you can subscribe to this channel on Moments with Marion so that you can catch some of my upcoming videos or webinars. I have also a number of other videos that are so related to this topic of emotional intelligence, and I really hope you enjoy them. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now, till we meet again, my friends, for another Moments with Marion.